1. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Let's begin with a question. What would your life look like if no external event could ever disturb your peace? Not rejection, not loss, not betrayal, not chaos. Just unshakable calm. That's not fantasy. That's Stoicism. And not the watered-down version you see on posters. I'm talking about the ancient, fire-tested philosophy of men who stared down slavery, exile, illness, and even death without breaking. This is the mindset of legends like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, who didn't just survive hardship, they transformed it into wisdom. And today we're diving deep into their mental world to understand what it means to develop an iron mind, a mind that bends but never breaks, a mind that meets adversity not with fear, but with stillness. This is not a self-help trick. This is a way of being. So join me as we explore the Stoic blueprint for unbreakable strength and ask, can I embody the mindset of a Stoic legend for one whole week? 2. The modern crisis. Why mental toughness is rare and urgently needed. In today's world, people are drowning in emotion, but starving for clarity, anxiety, overstimulation, comparison, distraction. We scroll endlessly. We react instantly. We avoid discomfort compulsively. And yet, something in us still aches for peace. What happened to our strength? What happened to resilience? Seneca warned us centuries ago. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And today, we live in an age where imagination has become our prison. We replay the future like it's a horror film. We mourn disasters that haven't even happened. We argue with people in our heads and call it preparation. But none of it gives us power. It only feeds the illusion that we are victims of everything. Here's where Stoicism delivers a brutal but liberating truth. You are not entitled to ease. You are only entitled to your own effort, your own virtue, your own choices. Marcus Aurelius said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." It's not that life is easier for Stoics. It's that Stoics stop expecting it to be easy. In a culture that worships comfort, the Stoics seek something more valuable: composure, courage, control. And in a world that breaks people for sport, mental toughness has never been more essential. Stoicism doesn't ask you to suppress emotion. It teaches you how to master it, to observe fear without obeying it, to notice anger without becoming it, to feel pain without turning it into a story about failure. Because that's what an iron mind is. It's not emotionless. It's emotionally disciplined. It chooses stillness over panic, wisdom over reaction, responsibility over resentment. And that kind of mind, that kind of strength, is not born. It's built. 3. Forging the Stoic mind, the core principles. If you want an iron mind, you need a furnace. And the Stoics gave us 3. These are the core principles they forged their lives around. And each one is a blow of the hammer, shaping your character. 1. The Dichotomy of Control. Some things are up to us and some are not. Epictetus. This isn't just a quote. It's a revolution in perspective. You can't control the weather. You can't control other people's opinions. You can't even control what happens tomorrow. But you can control your response, your values, your actions in the present moment. And that's where peace lives, on the side of what's yours to shape. The iron mind learns to stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable. 2. Virtue is the only good. If you seek tranquility, do less. Do only what is essential, and do it with the dignity that comes from focus. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics believed that true strength isn't measured in achievements, but in virtue, how you live, how you lead, how you hold your ground when tested. The iron mind doesn't bend to impulse. It serves reason, it honors integrity, and it does what is right, even when no one is watching. 3. Live in accordance with nature, not nature as in forests and oceans, but the nature of who you are, a rational moral being, capable of wisdom, wired for resilience. To live in accordance with nature is to stop resisting reality and start living with it, deliberately, presently, and gratefully. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." The Stoics knew that hardship was not a detour. It was the path. Every test is a tool. Every pain is a prompt to rise higher. Every obstacle becomes the anvil where your discipline is shaped. That's what Stoicism is. Not theory, but training. And this training isn't easy, but nothing legendary ever is. 4. Epictetus, from chains to greatness. If anyone had the right to complain, to fold, to curse fate, it was Epictetus. He was born into slavery, beaten, silenced, denied freedom in every form, except one, his mind. His master broke his body, but Epictetus refused to let anyone break his spirit. He once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And so, he mastered himself. He couldn't change his chains, but he changed how he responded to them. He couldn't leave the house, but he learned to walk the inner landscape of reason and virtue. He became a philosopher, not by title, not by degree, but by how he chose to think. When he was finally freed, he didn't seek revenge. He didn't chase wealth or comfort. He founded a school of philosophy and trained future leaders in the art of resilience. One of his students would go on to tutor Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who wrote Meditations, arguably the greatest Stoic work ever penned. That's the legacy of Epictetus, from slave to sage, from suffering to strength, from silence to timeless wisdom. And all because he understood this. Freedom is not given. It's earned internally, in your thoughts, in your choices, in your values. Epictetus lived by one code. If it's not within my control, it is not my concern. This single idea gave him the power to endure the unbearable and still emerge with clarity, humor, and grace. And if he could do that, what excuse do we have? 5. The mind as a fortress. The Stoics saw the mind not as a fragile mirror, but as a fortress. Inside, they built walls of reason, columns of discipline, and a roof made of calm in the storm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not a metaphor. That's a lifestyle. A Stoic doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He creates perfect responses. He doesn't demand comfort. He trains for clarity. Because life will always throw chaos at you. But whether it enters you, that's your decision. You can't stop the noise, but you can become the silence. And here's the truth most people miss. The Stoics didn't want to escape suffering. They wanted to transform it, to turn grief into gratitude, failure into wisdom, pain into purpose. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor strengthens the body." So ask yourself, what challenge are you avoiding? What pain are you clinging to? What weakness are you feeding? Now imagine facing it like a Stoic would. No panic, no excuse. only purpose. An iron mind isn't hardened by bitterness, it's hardened by truth. It doesn't avoid hardship, it walks straight into it, knowing it's the forge of greatness. So today, make this your creed. I will not be mastered by my emotions. I will not be bent by fear. I will not be owned by the opinions of others. I will think clearly. I will act rightly. I will rise, stoic and unshaken. Because the iron mind is not inherited. It is built, blow by blow, day by day, choice by choice. And that building starts now. If you've ever tried living by Stoic principles, share your story in the comments. Let others learn from your strength. And if you're ready to go deeper, watch my next video, where we explore the power of negative visualization and how imagining loss can teach us to cherish life.